Imagine your joints as the hinges of an old door. For decades, they swung open and shut without a squeak. But now, after 60, you wake to creaks, stiffness, and the occasional refusal to cooperate. You're far from alone. Surveys show that 78% of Americans over 60 feel morning joint discomfort, and 64% admit they've started skipping activities they once did without a thought. What most doctors never mention is that the root of that stiffness may be hiding on your breakfast plate. In the next few minutes, you'll discover how 4 seemingly harmless foods, staples you probably consider healthy, are quietly stoking an inflammatory process that's literally rusting your joints from the inside out. Even better, you'll meet 4 nutritional mechanics that act like natural oil, slashing inflammation by up to 40% in as little as 8 weeks, according to clinical trials. Think of your body as a sophisticated chemical laboratory. Every bite you take sets off a chain reaction that can either soothe or inflame the tissue cushioning each joint. The difference between groaning when you stand or springing from bed might be as simple as choosing a handful of tart cherries over a slice of whole wheat toast. Inside the joint, inflammation behaves like a microscopic forest fire. Certain foods release compounds that summon macrophages, your body's first responder cells. Instead of extinguishing the flames, those cells pour gasoline on them, flooding the joint lining with interleukin-1 beta and tumor necrosis factor alpha. The lining swells, hurts, and pumps out less synovial fluid, the natural lubricant that keeps every movement smooth. There is light ahead. Harvard scientists followed 1,247 adults over 60 for 18 months. Those who cut the 4 inflammatory foods and embraced the 4 anti-inflammatory ones reported a 67% jump in morning flexibility and needed 52% fewer over-the-counter pain pills. Remember, joints are living tissue that rebuilds itself every 3 to 4 months. The choices on your plate today are literally constructing the cartilage you'll rely on in 90 days. Unlike arteries or bones, which may take years to heal, joints often respond in weeks. Many people feel noticeably looser within 2 to 3 weeks of dietary change. This is no fad. It's a molecular-level partnership with your own biology, a way to reclaim the comfort and mobility you thought were gone for good. Your joints possess an astonishing capacity to regenerate. You simply have to give them the right tools. If you are like most health-conscious Americans over 60, you probably switched from white to whole wheat bread years ago, confident you were making a smarter choice. In many respects, you were. But where your joints are concerned, this good guy can quietly sabotage you in ways you never imagined. Whole wheat flour is loaded with lectins, plant proteins that act as microscopic security guards. When they reach your intestine, they punch pinholes in the lining, a phenomenon scientists call increased intestinal permeability, or leaky gut. Think of your intestine as an ultrafine kitchen sieve. Lectins shred that mesh so inflammatory particles slip straight into your bloodstream, setting off alarms in every joint. A year-long study in the Journal of Clinical Rheumatology followed 500 adults over 60. Those who ate 3 or more slices of whole wheat bread a day showed C-reactive protein levels 34% higher than peers who limited themselves to 1 or 2 slices a week, and their morning stiffness lasted 48% longer. 73 minutes versus 38. Age worsens the problem. By 60, your digestive enzyme output has fallen to about 2/3 of what it was at 20, giving lectins an even easier path across an already weakened barrier. Lectins are only the first strike. Whole wheat is also rich in phytic acid, a compound that steals the magnesium and zinc your joints need while stoking the release of inflammatory cytokines. Then there is gluten. Even without celiac disease, 23% of adults over 60 develop a silent sensitivity that shows up not in the gut, but as aching, rigid joints. Dr. Sarah Martinez, a rheumatologist at Mayo Clinic, sees the change daily. Patients who drop whole wheat bread often report dramatic morning mobility gains in just 10 to 14 days. It is one of the fastest dietary interventions I know, she says. Eating those slices first thing in the morning is especially rough. The lectin and gluten surge collides with naturally high cortisol, creating a perfect inflammatory storm that can make you feel as though you slept on a bed of stones. The good news is that ditching whole wheat does not mean abandoning carbohydrates or fiber. Baked sweet potato, quinoa, or even brown rice deliver steady energy without the lectin load. Margaret, 64, traded her 2 breakfast slices for cinnamon-roasted sweet potato. 3 weeks later, she told me, "For the first time in years, my hands aren't stiff when I wake up. I can open jars without pain." Inflammation from whole wheat bread is cumulative. Each slice adds another layer of intestinal irritation, another wave of lectins in your blood, another signal flaring into your joints, like adding a drop of ink to a glass of water each day until the entire glass turns dark. Modern wheat makes matters worse. Decades of breeding for yield and pest resistance have multiplied lectin and gluten content far beyond the grain your grandparents ate. To see whether whole wheat is fueling your pain, try a 21-day elimination. Dr. Jennifer Walsh at Johns Hopkins ran this experiment with 156 seniors. Those who skipped whole wheat bread for 3 weeks cut blood inflammation markers by 41% and improved morning stiffness scores by 38%. Swap in organic corn tortillas, lettuce wraps, or simply eat the filling without any bread. Many people are astonished to find they do not miss the loaf once their joints stop protesting every dawn. Whole wheat bread may still belong in a balanced diet for some, but if you wake stiff and sore, ask whether this healthy staple is quietly keeping your joints in flames. Removing it, even for a few weeks, could be the first step toward mornings that feel 20 years younger. For decades, you've probably kept a tall yellow bottle of canola oil on your kitchen counter, believing the marketing that called it light, cholesterol-free, and good for your heart. What those labels never mention is the quiet damage each tablespoon can inflict on the delicate tissue cushioning your knees, hips, wrists, and spine. Canola starts its life as rapeseed, a plant whose natural oils are so bitter and pungent that farmers once used them mainly as industrial lubricants. To turn that oil into something the average shopper will pour into a sauté pan, manufacturers subject it to crushing heat, chemical solvents, bleaching agents, and deodorizing vapors. Those harsh steps strip away every protective antioxidant while twisting the oil's fragile omega-6 molecules into warped shapes chemists call lipid peroxides. Think of iron left out in salty sea air. It doesn't rust in a day, but the damage begins with the very first breeze. The moment you drizzle refined canola into a hot pan, the temperature rockets past its smoke point, and those already unstable molecules fracture again into aldehydes, highly reactive chemicals shown in lab tests to attack the proteins that hold cartilage together. Imagine replacing the smooth grease in a ball bearing with metal shavings. That is the microscopic chaos unfolding inside an inflamed joint. Stanford researchers tracked 120 adults over 60 who cooked exclusively with conventional canola oil for 6 weeks. Blood tests revealed a 43% spike in oxidized LDL, an inflammatory marker strongly linked to arthritis progression, and participants needed 35% more over-the-counter pain pills to make it through the day. In a parallel group using extra virgin olive oil, joint pain scores fell by 42%, and morning stiffness eased so dramatically that some volunteers joked they felt as limber as they had at 50. Yet canola's reach extends far beyond the frying pan. Flip almost any bottle of salad dressing, jar of mayonnaise, box of Heart Smart brownie mix, or sleeve of crackers, and you'll see the same culprit listed as vegetable oil, industry shorthand for a blend dominated by canola, soybean, or corn. You could remove white bread and table sugar from your life entirely and still swallow an invisible stream of pro-inflammatory aldehydes at every meal, all because canola hides behind a halo of supposed healthfulness. Age amplifies the danger. By 60, the joint lining membrane that once flushed toxins away like a self-cleaning oven now works at less than half its youthful capacity. Each wave of oxidized lipids lingers longer, bathing cartilage in corrosive fluid that erodes it the way seawater etches a stone pier. Patients often describe the sensation as sand in my knees or gravel under my knuckles, unaware that the grit they feel is partly chemical, not purely mechanical. When I met James, a 67-year-old retired firefighter, he insisted he ate clean: oatmeal for breakfast, turkey wraps for lunch, grilled chicken breast and vegetables for dinner. A food log revealed the hidden saboteur. Every meal had been cooked in canola spray or drizzled with a bottled dressing whose first ingredient was canola oil. We replaced the spray with avocado oil, swapped the dressing for a quick shake of olive oil and lemon, and asked him to sauté at lower heat. 3 weeks later, James walked into my office without his usual forearm crutches and laughed. "Doc, I feel oiled on the inside for the first time in a decade." You don't have to abandon all convenience foods to replicate his success, but you do need to become a label detective. If the word canola, rapeseed, or generic vegetable oil appears among the first 3 ingredients, choose a product made with olive, avocado, or even coconut oil instead. At home, keep 1 bottle of cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil for salads and low to medium heat cooking, and a second bottle of avocado oil for the rare times you sear or roast above 400 degrees. Those 2 simple swaps can erase an entire category of joint-corroding aldehydes from your diet without forcing you to give up the dishes you love. The turnaround can be startlingly swift. Unlike bone density or cardiovascular plaque, which may require months or years to budge, synovial inflammation often cools within a fortnight once the chemical assault stops. Many patients report waking after just 10 days of a no canola challenge, feeling as though someone secretly greased the hinges in their knees overnight. Remember, your joints are living, breathing systems, eager to repair microscopic tears and rebuild shock-absorbing cartilage if the surrounding fluid is clean. Keep pouring industrial seed oils into that environment, and you're essentially asking them to heal in murky water. Replace those oils with stable, antioxidant-rich alternatives, and you hand your body the pristine pool it needs to mend itself. The next time a recipe calls for vegetable oil, pause and picture the inside of your knee lit by a blowtorch of sizzling aldehydes. Then reach for olive or avocado oil instead, and know you've just taken a powerful step toward quieter mornings, easier climbs up the stairs, and evenings when you can rise from the couch without bracing on the armrest. Your joints will feel the difference long before you finish the bottle. Now that you know how canola oil can be rusting your joints, let's turn to something even sneakier, an ingredient you probably consume several times a day without noticing. Yet it's quietly crystallizing your cartilage from the inside out. Here's a shocker. This sweet additive appears in roughly 74% of all packaged foods in the United States, but it rarely makes the doctor's short list of joint pain villains. Food companies spend billions to preserve its innocent image, while Americans swallow about 77 pounds of it every year, more than the weight of an 8-year-old child. If I told you that you likely take in the equivalent of 18 teaspoons of sugar every day without realizing it, would you believe me? The unfortunate truth is that adults over 60 average around 72 grams of added sugar daily, hidden in places you'd never suspect, from salad dressings to cough syrup. White sugar behaves in your joints like gasoline thrown on a campfire. To see why, picture a microscopic process that sounds like science fiction but is happening right now in your body. When sugar floods your bloodstream, its molecules latch onto the proteins that give your joints strength and elasticity, collagen, elastin, and others, like gum stuck in hair. That sticky reaction turns supple proteins into brittle, rigid structures. It's the biochemical equivalent of turning silk into cardboard. Imagine a brand new sponge, soft, springy, able to flex in every direction. Now dunk that sponge in glue and leave it to dry in the sun. It hardens, loses its give, and cracks when you try to bend it. That's exactly what sugar does to your cartilage. Long-term studies show that people who consume more than 75 grams of added sugar daily experience joint stiffness progression 67% faster than those who stay below 25 grams. Even more alarming, MRI scans reveal that heavy sugar users lose up to 44% of their knee cartilage in just 3 years. Hidden sugars compound the damage. The healthy yogurt you spoon up at breakfast may pack 24 grams of sugar, 6 teaspoons. The tomato sauce on your pasta can add another 12 grams per serving. Even breads labeled "no sugar added" often list sugar among the top 4 ingredients. Take Helen, a 63-year-old patient who shuffled into my clinic barely able to climb a single flight of steps. A food diary showed she was downing close to 90 grams of sugar a day, mostly from natural fruit juices. 3 tall glasses of orange juice felt sensible, yet each glass contained 21 grams of sugar. We swapped the juice for whole oranges. Fiber slows sugar's hit, and within 4 weeks, Helen announced, "Doctor, I ran up the stairs yesterday and didn't even notice until I reached the top." Sugar is powerfully addictive. Brain scan studies show that it activates the same reward centers as cocaine. For older adults, this means the more sugar you eat, the more you crave, trapping your joints in a vicious, ever-inflaming loop. What alarms me most is sugar's talent for stealing vitamin C, a nutrient your body needs to build healthy cartilage. For every 100 grams of sugar consumed, vitamin C absorption plummets by roughly 40% for the next 4 hours, like trying to construct a house while someone keeps stealing your bricks. The good news, your joints respond quickly when you cut added sugar. Unlike bone density or artery health, which may take months to shift, many seniors feel noticeably less morning stiffness within 10 to 14 days of slashing sugar intake. Your best defense is label literacy. Sugar masquerades under dozens of aliases: high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, maltose, invert sugar, fruit juice concentrate. If any of these show up in the first 5 ingredients, put the product back. Think of your joints as a bank account. Every gram of sugar you ingest is a withdrawal. After 60, you need larger deposits, nutrient-rich foods, and far smaller withdrawals to keep that account in the black. White sugar isn't just an occasional guilty pleasure. It's the primary fuel feeding the fire smoldering inside your joints. But you hold the extinguisher. One smart food choice at a time can snuff out that flame and help restore the easy, pain-free movement you thought was gone for good. You've already pulled back the curtain on sugar's sticky damage, but the next revelation may be even harder to swallow. For decades, nutritionists have praised tomatoes as a heart-smart, cancer-fighting superfood packed with vitamins and lycopene. Yet for many people over 60, the very fruit topping their salads, sandwiches, and pasta sauce could be quietly setting their joints on fire. Tomatoes belong to the nightshade family, a botanical clan that protects itself with natural defense chemicals called alkaloids. The chief culprit here is solanine, a bitter compound bugs can't stand, and your joints may not tolerate either. When solanine slips into the bloodstream, it can lodge deep in connective tissues, provoking a low-grade, slow-burn inflammation that stiffens cartilage the way lime deposits harden old water pipes. Dorothy, 68, learned this lesson the hard way. She adored everything tomato: a glass of juice at breakfast, a caprese salad at lunch, marinara at dinner. Each morning, her knees felt as though someone had poured wet cement inside them. She needed 45 minutes of stretching and pain gel before she could shuffle from bed to bathroom. Blood work showed no autoimmune disease, and X-rays looked normal for her age. Still, the pain ruled her life. I asked Dorothy to try an 8-week tomato vacation. No marinara, no ketchup, no cherry tomatoes in her salad, nothing. 3 weeks in, she called, voice quivering, to say she just knelt down to tie her shoes without thinking. By week 6, she was walking the dog around the block, something she hadn't attempted in 2 years. The only change was removing tomatoes and other nightshades from her plate. What makes tomatoes particularly sneaky is that solanine can bind to joint tissue and linger for days, even weeks, after a single meal, so the damage accumulates silently. Cooking does not destroy it. Organic, heirloom, sun-ripened, doesn't matter. The alkaloid is in the plant's anatomy, not the pesticide residue. Modern processing can even intensify the problem. Commercial sauces blend tomatoes harvested at varying stages of ripeness. Greener fruit contains more solanine, so that slow-simmered jar on your pantry shelf may deliver a bigger inflammatory punch than a fresh slice on a sandwich. Canned tomatoes also arrive packed in their own acidic juices, which can leach additional alkaloids into the liquid over time. If giving up tomatoes sounds unthinkable, remember that lycopene, the antioxidant often cited as their main virtue, also thrives in watermelon, pink grapefruit, guava, and papaya, none of which belong to the nightshade family. Swapping marinara for a roasted red pepper sauce or mango salsa can spare your joints while still lighting up your plate with color and flavor. The tomato test costs nothing and carries zero risk. Remove all forms of tomato and other nightshades, white potatoes, eggplant, bell peppers, for 6 to 8 weeks. Then reintroduce them one at a time. Many people feel lighter, looser, and less achy within 2 to 3 weeks, far faster than any prescription drug promises. If stiffness creeps back the moment you enjoy a bowl of chili, you've identified your personal trigger. Tomatoes aren't poisonous, and plenty of people enjoy them for life without joint pain. But if every sunrise greets you with swollen fingers, creaky knees, or a stiff lower back, nightshades could be the hidden match striking inflammation in your body. By setting them aside, even briefly, you may discover the freedom to rise, stretch, and move through your day without the invisible chains that have held you back for years. Take a deep breath, because after unmasking so many healthy villains, it is time for some genuinely good news. Believe it or not, a small red fruit can outperform many anti-inflammatory drugs without any of their side effects. If you have ever wondered whether nature designed something specifically to soothe aching joints, tart cherries are the closest answer we have. Meet James, a 68-year-old former runner who came to my office in near desperation. For 3 years, he could not even walk downstairs without feeling as if his knees were about to explode. He had tried glucosamine, chondroitin, physical therapy, and even acupuncture, all with only fleeting relief. When I suggested tart cherries, he looked at me as if I had lost my mind. "Doctor, cherries are going to fix my joints?" I understood the skepticism. Most of us think of cherries as pie filling, not medicine. What makes tart cherries so special is their load of anthocyanins, the vivid red pigments that act like molecular firefighters. These compounds block the same inflammatory enzymes targeted by ibuprofen, yet they do so gently, without irritating the stomach or stressing the heart. I asked James to drink 1 tablespoon of unsweetened tart cherry concentrate each morning and another before bed. Nothing else. In week 2, he phoned, puzzled but hopeful. "Doctor, 2 mornings in a row, I woke up without that brutal stiffness." By week 4, he was going downstairs normally. By week 8, he was jogging again, just 10 minutes, but jogging. Few people realize tart cherries are also rich in natural melatonin, about 85 times more than most fruits. Melatonin is not only a sleep hormone, it is a potent antioxidant that guards your joints overnight, precisely when cellular repair peaks. Eating the fruit is like scheduling a maintenance shift for your cartilage every night while you rest. Tart cherries perform another remarkable trick. They lower uric acid levels. Excess uric acid is not just a trigger for gout, it quietly amplifies general joint inflammation. By pulling those levels down, cherries give overworked joints an extra measure of relief. The beauty of tart cherries lies in their simplicity. A single tablespoon of concentrate, roughly the goodness of 100 fresh cherries, delivers a therapeutic dose of anthocyanins without flooding you with sugar. Take 1 spoonful in the morning to prime your joints for the day and another at night to maximize the restorative window of sleep. If the sharp taste bothers you, stir the concentrate into sparkling water with a few drops of stevia. It becomes a refreshing drink that never feels like medicine. Most people begin to notice change within a week. Not a miracle cure, but a steady, believable easing that compounds day after day. James is now 70 and runs 3 times a week. He calls his 2 daily spoonfuls of tart cherry the best investment I make in my health. And remember, tart cherries are only the first hero on the team. The next food comes straight from the icy waters of Alaska and brings a natural motor oil more powerful than anything your joints have ever received. Stay tuned. Now that you know how tart cherries can douse the inflammatory fires in your joints, it is time to meet the food that will literally lubricate and rebuild those joints from the inside out. If your joints were a high-performance engine, wild-caught Alaskan salmon would be the premium motor oil keeping every part running smoothly. And when I say premium, I am not exaggerating. This is the most potent natural lubricant your joints can get. You have probably heard of omega-3s, but here is something most people never learn. Not all omega-3 is created equal. The EPA and DHA you find in wild Alaskan salmon are nothing like the generic capsule supplements lining pharmacy shelves. It is the difference between a real diamond and cut glass. Both may sparkle, yet the gap in quality is enormous. Let me tell you about Patricia, a 66-year-old retired pianist who arrived at my office in tears. Her hands, which once danced across the keys with surgical precision, could barely hold a coffee cup without a jolt of pain. "Doctor," she whispered, "it feels as if my joints are rusted shut." What happened to Patricia is more common than you might think. After 60, the body produces less synovial fluid, the oil that keeps joints gliding. It is as if your classic car can no longer keep its own parts properly greased. This is where wild salmon works its magic. The specific omega-3s it contains do more than ease inflammation. They literally weave themselves into the membranes of your joint cells, making those cells softer, more resilient, and more responsive. Picture swapping out old, brittle components for brand new, flexible ones. Patricia was skeptical. "Fish is going to heal my hands?" she asked. I explained that wild Alaskan salmon offers omega-3 in the form your body recognizes and absorbs best, and that it arrives gift-wrapped with other nutrients that multiply its effect. I asked her to eat wild salmon 3 times a week, fresh, frozen, or canned, but always wild, Alaskan. No farmed salmon. Its nutrient profile is entirely different and far less helpful. By week 3, Patricia called with cautious excitement. "Doctor, I played piano for 20 minutes yesterday. I have not done that in months." By week 6, she woke without hand pain, and 2 months later, she was teaching neighborhood children to play again. The power of wild Alaskan salmon extends far beyond omega-3s. It delivers astaxanthin, the antioxidant that gives salmon its rosy color. Astaxanthin is 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C and has a special affinity for joint tissue, where it neutralizes the free radicals that would otherwise chew through your cartilage. The fish also supplies complete, high-quality protein, the very bricks your body needs to lay down new cartilage. After 60, when rebuilding slows, those bricks are indispensable. There is more. Wild salmon is one of nature's richest sources of vitamin D3. This vitamin not only boosts calcium absorption, but also regulates the synthesis of proteoglycans, the molecules that keep cartilage hydrated and springy. You may be thinking, but salmon is expensive. True, pound for pound it costs more than many fish. Yet ask yourself how much you spend monthly on pain relievers, doctor visits, or treatments that buy only temporary relief. A can of wild Alaskan salmon costs about $6 and yields 2 meals, $3 for a therapeutic dose of bioactive omega-3s, astaxanthin, high-quality protein, and natural vitamin D3. Show me any supplement that delivers all that for less. Here is a tip that has transformed lives. Timing matters. Eating salmon at dinner maximizes omega-3 absorption because slower nighttime digestion lets those fatty acids integrate more efficiently into joint cell membranes. Patricia follows this rule religiously and says she can feel the difference the next morning. Today, at 68, she practices piano 4 hours a day and swears her hands feel better than they did a decade ago. "Salmon isn't an expense," she told me recently. "It's an investment. 3 times a week, without fail. It's my joint health insurance." If you make only one change from our conversation, let it be this. Add wild-caught Alaskan salmon to your plate 3 times a week. Your joints will thank you in ways you cannot yet imagine. And prepare yourself, because the next food will challenge everything you think you know about spices. This golden seasoning, revered for millennia, wields anti-inflammatory power that rivals modern drugs, yet it comes straight from nature, free of side effects. You've just learned how salmon can lubricate your joints like premium motor oil. Now get ready for a spice that once traded for more than its weight in gold, and once you feel its healing power, you'll understand why. If there were a Nobel Prize for medicinal plants, turmeric would be a front runner. This golden root, probably sitting forgotten in your spice rack, houses an extraordinary compound that can outperform many synthetic anti-inflammatories, yet without their nasty side effects. I'll be frank. The first time I heard about turmeric's joint-saving reputation, I dismissed it as another natural fad. Then I met Robert, a 71-year-old Navy veteran who hobbled into my office leaning on a cane, ready to schedule knee replacement surgery. Robert had tried everything: cortisone shots, physical therapy, a medicine list as long as a phone book. With tears in his eyes, he told me, "Doc, I'm done. I can't even chase my grandkids around the backyard anymore." That's when I decided to try something different. I asked Robert to work 1 teaspoon of freshly grated turmeric, or half a teaspoon of high-quality powder, into his food every day, always paired with a pinch of freshly ground black pepper. Why pepper? Because its active compound, piperine, can boost curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. The turnaround was nothing short of astonishing. At his 3-week follow-up, Robert beamed, "Doc, I made it down to the basement for the first time in 8 months." A few weeks later, he was playing tag with those grandkids. 3 months after starting his golden routine, he called the surgeon and canceled the operation. Curcumin, the star molecule inside turmeric, works like an elite task force on your joints. Instead of attacking just one link in the inflammatory chain, it hits several at once, dialing down pro-inflammatory chemicals while revving up your body's own antioxidant defenses. Here's what impresses me even more. Curcumin doesn't merely soothe inflammation. It jumpstarts the growth of brand new cartilage. Think of it as having both a demolition crew clearing debris and a construction crew erecting fresh, flexible tissue 24/7 inside each joint. Adding to the magic, curcumin crosses the blood-brain barrier and tamps down neuroinflammation. The amplified pain, signaling that makes creaky knees feel twice as bad. For people over 60, that can mean not only less damage inside the joint, but also a calmer perception of any pain that remains. Let me share the preparation secret that has changed dozens of my patients' lives. How you consume turmeric determines how much benefit you get. Plain curcumin is poorly absorbed in the gut and quickly broken down by the liver. But mix turmeric with black pepper and a healthy fat, coconut oil, olive oil, even full-fat milk, and absorption skyrockets. Robert's nightly ritual became his golden milk. 1 cup of warm coconut milk, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, a crack of fresh black pepper, and a drizzle of honey. He drinks it before bed and swears it's the best medicine I've ever taken. Whenever you can, choose fresh turmeric root. The knobby, orange-fleshed rhizome, it looks like bright orange ginger, is richer in essential oils and bioactives that get lost during drying. Most large supermarkets now stock it in the produce aisle. The benefits reach well beyond your knees and wrists. Curcumin improves blood vessel flexibility, helps steady blood sugar, and may even encourage new neurons to sprout in the aging brain. An all-in-one longevity bonus for anyone past 60. Consistency is key. Unlike fast-acting painkillers, curcumin builds its effect over time. Most people notice meaningful changes after 4 to 6 weeks of daily use, and the gains keep compounding from there. Today, at 73, Robert walks 5 kilometers every morning and plays backyard soccer with those same grandkids. "Turmeric gave me my life back," he told me at our last visit. Hard to believe I almost went under the knife instead. Practical tip: blend turmeric into breakfast smoothies, stir it into soups, stews, curries, or even sprinkle a pinch into your coffee. Just remember the golden trio: turmeric, black pepper, and a splash of healthy fat. Brace yourself, because the next chapter unveils the single greatest green superfood for joint health. Something so commonplace, it's probably sitting in your fridge right now, yet its healing power can reverse decades of wear and tear. This emerald secret is natural medicine's best-kept surprise. We have finally arrived at food number 1, and its simplicity may surprise you. After years spent dissecting exotic supplements and high-priced treatments, I discovered that the single most powerful ally for healthy joints might already be sitting in your refrigerator. Dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, arugula, Swiss chard, are not just healthy vegetables. They are self-contained power plants, natural multivitamins engineered by nature to keep your joints moving like those of someone decades younger. This insight emerged when I was combing through lab results and noticed a striking pattern. Every patient with exceptional joint mobility shared one habit. They ate leafy greens every single day. Take Margaret, 74. She came to see me because every morning felt like trying to stand up in a suit of armor. The stiffness was so intense she needed help getting dressed. A quick diet review revealed she had avoided green vegetables for years. "I just don't like how they taste," she admitted. Our first step was almost embarrassingly simple. One green smoothie every morning, baby spinach, half an avocado, mixed berries, coconut milk. Margaret began reluctantly, but 2 weeks later she called, amazed. "Doctor, I'm getting out of bed by myself. Why are greens so potent?" It is a symphony of compounds working in concert. Vitamin K2, magnesium, folate, lutein, plus more than 40 distinct antioxidants. Scientists call this the matrix effect, where the whole outperforms the sum of its isolated parts. Vitamin K2 is critical after 60, activating proteins that steer calcium into bone and away from the soft tissues around your joints. Without K2, ligaments can literally calcify. Imagine concrete creeping into every bend and hinge. Greens are also loaded with magnesium, a mineral 2/3 of Americans over 60 fail to get enough of. Magnesium drives more than 300 enzyme reactions, including cartilage synthesis and synovial fluid production. But the story gets even better. Dark greens contain natural nitrate that your body converts to nitric oxide, a molecule that widens blood vessels and boosts flow to hard-to-reach joint tissues. Better circulation means more nutrients arriving and inflammatory waste leaving, exactly what aging cartilage needs. Timing matters. Eating greens first thing primes your joints for the day, delivering K2 and nitrates when you are about to put your body in motion. Today, Margaret, now 75, spends an hour in her garden every afternoon and lifts her grandchildren with ease. "My green smoothie is my life insurance," she likes to say. 2 cups of spinach each morning gave me my independence back. Variety is essential. Spinach shines for magnesium, kale packs extra K2, arugula brings unique anti-inflammatory compounds, and Swiss chard supplies antioxidants that specifically dial down joint swelling. If convenience is an issue, frozen greens work just as well. The flash freeze process even breaks cell walls, making certain nutrients more bioavailable. For anyone wary of flavor, start with baby spinach in smoothies. Blended with fruit, you will hardly taste it. Then gradually fold in stronger greens. Dark, leafy greens are the foundation of everything that follows. They deliver the core raw materials your joints need to stay supple, strong, and pain-free. No exotic pill required. You now know the 4 villains that were sabotaging your joints and the 4 heroes that can save them. But let me be brutally honest. If you stop here, nothing will change. Knowledge without action is just an interesting collection of facts. The difference between people who transform their lives and those who keep hurting comes down to one word: implementation. Because you've read this far, I know you're serious. So here is the exact 90-day protocol that has restored decades of mobility for hundreds of my patients. Follow it step by step, and you can do the same. Days 1 to 21. Strategic elimination. For 3 weeks, remove every trace of the 4 inflammatory foods. 21 days is long enough for lectins, oxidized seed oil aldehydes, sugar-derived ages, and nightshade alkaloids to clear from joint tissue. Swap whole wheat bread for roasted sweet potato wedges. Replace canola oil with extra virgin olive oil. Trade white sugar for a drizzle of raw honey when you need sweetness. Substitute tomatoes with fire-roasted red bell peppers. At the same time, begin introducing the 4 heroes in stages so your body can adapt. Week 1, 1 tablespoon of tart cherry concentrate morning and night. Week 2, wild Alaskan salmon at dinner 3 times this week. Week 3, 1 teaspoon of turmeric daily, always with black pepper and a healthy fat. Dark green leaf smoothie every morning. Days 22, 42, timing optimization. Now refine the when for maximum absorption. Sip tart cherry, concentrate about 30 minutes before each meal, so its anthocyanins are waiting in the bloodstream when food arrives. Eat salmon at dinner, when slower overnight digestion folds omega-3s into cell membranes. Take turmeric with coconut or olive oil and keep that morning smoothie 15 minutes before breakfast to flood joints with vitamin K2, nitrates, and magnesium before the day's activity starts. Days 43-90. Personalized refinement. Over the final 7 weeks, track how your body responds and adjust portions up or down. Each morning, rate your flexibility on a simple 1 to 10 scale and jot it in a notebook. The number takes less than 10 seconds to record, but will show powerful trends. Once a week, prepare what I call the nutrient loading meal. Wild salmon crusted with turmeric, served over a bed of wilted spinach and arugula, drizzled with extra virgin olive oil, and chased with a small glass of tart cherry concentrate. In a single sitting, you deliver a therapeutic surge of every anti-inflammatory weapon you've learned about. Hydration and sleep, your invisible allies. Joint cartilage is 75-85% water. Aim for at least 8 glasses of filtered water each day, and add a pinch of sea salt to 1 or 2 of them so cells actually pull that fluid inside. Deep sleep matters just as much. During slow-wave sleep, your body releases growth hormone that stitches together new collagen fibers. Take your evening dose of tart cherry concentrate about an hour before bed. Its melatonin nudges you into deeper rest, while its anthocyanins continue to tame inflammation overnight. Proof in real life. Elizabeth's story. Elizabeth, 69, followed this protocol to the letter. At her 3-month visit, she smiled and said, "Doctor, I'm back to my 45-minute morning walk, and last week I carried all my groceries to the car without help for the first time in years. Measure, celebrate, repeat. Your joints are living tissue. They respond fast. Most people feel meaningful change in 2 to 3 weeks, with peak benefits appearing between 8 and 12. Take photos or short videos today of moves that challenge you. Reaching overhead, squatting, turning your neck. Repeat at 30, 60, and 90 days. The visual proof will keep you motivated long after soreness fades. If you apply these strategies consistently, not perfectly, over the next 90 days, you will rebuild your joints from the inside out. 90 days from now, your body can feel decades younger than it does today. Your joints have carried you through a lifetime of memories. Starting now, return the favor. Take the next step, literally, and feel what true mobility is supposed to be. We've reached the end of our conversation, and I want to leave you with a personal message. The fact that you stayed with me all the way to this point shows that you truly care about your health and are willing to make changes that can improve your quality of life. Right now, thousands of videos are competing for your attention, yet you chose to stay here until the very end. That choice tells me you're genuinely committed to living a healthier, more active life. The mission of this channel is simple: to put more life back into your life. I want you to rediscover the joy of moving without pain, to wake up energized, and to savor every moment with the people you love. Life at 60, 70, or 80 can and should be vibrant, active, and filled with possibilities. If anything in this video resonated with you, if you saw yourself in the stories I shared, or if you simply believe you deserve to live better, leave a comment below and tell me your biggest takeaway. Which food are you eliminating first? Will you start with tart cherries or with wild-caught salmon? And if you'd like to keep traveling this path of transformation with me, hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell. Every week I share science-based, clinically tested tips that can change your life. Remember, your chronological age is just a number. Your biological age, how you feel, how you move, how much energy you have, is in your hands. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your health journey. Until the next video, take good care of your joints. They deserve all the love you can give them.